Whiskey Zero Golf Papa Romeo. Whiskey Zero Golf Papa Romeo.
The Whiskey Zero Golf Station, come back with the call sign again, please.
Whiskey Zero Golf Papa Romeo. Whiskey Zero Golf Papa Radio Romeo. Over.
Roger, Roger. And what's your location, sir?
The location here is Bradford, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, and the name here is Brandon. Bravo Romeo. November Delta Oscar November. Brandon, over.
Roger, Brandon. Well, let's see. Gosh, I'm copying you on my magnetic loop antennas in the co-phase mode, and you're giving me, it looks like about a 10 over, although conditions are pretty volatile as far as fading in and outs. Roger, Roger.
Roger, I copy you at, thank you for the 10 over signal, and sounds, the magnetic loop sounds good. You're coming in as a strong 20 over. I'm currently running on a Elecraft K-3, and the antenna is the guidelines of 180-foot tower, so each leg is 256 feet into a tuner that's at the top of the tower. So I'm running barefoot at 100 watts, but I'm running there on top of the rig, but most of the time I run portable, so it's always great to run with a little bit better equipment. Over.
Roger, Roger, Brandon. Well, you know, gosh, if I were copying the mail, if my Milford, PA SDR was up, I'm sure you would be taking my head off, since you're in Pennsylvania, and probably, you know, a tremendous signal there, but Milford's down, and I am copying you, like I say, on my local magloop antennas. So if you would be interested in a fatter signal, we've got your answer. Roger, Roger.
Very good, yes. Thank you for the signal report. It's always good to kind of see how the station operates from out here. And we're just talking about the SDR. Is that personal that you use for remote operation, or is that through the web SDR service?
That's through HU SDR, SDR HU. It's we're running 4 internet SDR receivers on Arlington, Virginia, Milford, PA, Rochester, New York, and Atlanta, Georgia. They are internet SDR receivers, and they come up on a rotary switch, a 6-position rotary switch, along with my my radio audio. And so when I'm looking for a signal better, I just rotate my selector, and I can sample these 5 signals in about a second and a half to compare who's doing what and how loud. Roger?
Very good. No, that sounds excellent. Yeah, I heard the Rochester, and I actually live in the Buffalo, New York area. I actually go to school, a graduate student at the University of Buffalo, and always looking for ways to demonstrate ham radio to people, and it's kind of neat to see what you can show in the area. And I was interested in that Rochester station, but I mean, it sounds like you have a great setup for being able to look at different propagations for around your region and do good sampling. So sounds good. Thank you. Roger.
Only through the cooperation of the SDR folks, and we just want to compliment the folks at the Rochester SDR for being so so courteous, nice, and helpful as far as being able to log on and not get kicked off. They've gone out of their way to help me, and so I really have a shout out for them this week. Roger.
Absolutely, sounds good. So thank you for the comeback, and wasn't sure what you were looking for here for just general check-ins or signal reports, but thank you for coming back and giving the excellent signal report here into Western Pennsylvania.
Roger, Brandon, and we do offer a tune-up setup service. Your audio, while you know, I am getting a fairly good RF signal, your audio seems fairly loose. We could tighten that up and get you a little bit louder if you might be. Your audio right now has about a 10 dB dynamic range. We would want to fatten that up to about a 3 dB dynamic range, so you would appear about twice or so louder than what you are, and very clean clean, exceptionally clean, hearing no compressor work or no limiter work. And it all starts with your compressor set to about a 3 out of 10 engaged on your compressor. Roger?
KD2AMZ,
Very good. Yeah,
KD2AMZ.
I'm pretty sure that there's minimal setup on this radio, and I'm pretty sure there's no compressor set on it. I'm actually looking for the knob on this. I usually run a K-3, and so I'm a little bit more familiar with that.
KD2AMZ, KD2AMZ.
Station standby or active frequency right now. We'll get to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm testing my radio, please. Standing by.
So, Brandon, did you find your compressor?
I am looking for it now. It might be in the menu. I saw it on a separate button on the front of the KX3. I'm looking around. I believe it's in the menu. I'm going to have to look at that real quick. Stand by.
Roger, I'll tell you what, let me give you a couple of notes, and you can work at it at your leisure as you find things in your book, Roger.
Very good. Go ahead. I'm looking now.
All right, if you would take notes, first thing is to engage your compressor at about a 3. Engage your compressor at about a 3. Then move to your ALC, and with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Adjust your ALC by way of your mic gain to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Roger. Engage compressor to 3, and then monitoring ALC. Set mic gain for mid-range to 2/3. Over.
Absolutely, you've got it there. And your EQ, I think, will be great. I don't think you have to change your EQ at all, Roger.
Roger. Yeah. I dynamically change my EQ and my voice depending on the band conditions. Just a little quirk I played around with, and so I know if I'm going for DX, I try and actually bring my pitch a little bit higher, give it a little bit more of a DX punch rather than fiddling around with the microphone. And then if it's a more stable network or stable relay between stations, I might relax my voice a little bit more to bring out a little bit more of the bass. But yeah, I usually try to leave the mic response flat, and my dad does the same, so that kind of helps. So thank you. I really appreciate the feedback on the EQ. That's always good to know. Over.
Roger. Well, like I say, what we do is take care of the dynamic range to where it's a 3 dB dynamic range, so it is a lot louder than unprocessed, but it's not up against the wall. You can't hear anything working. It sounds clean. It's just loud. And I think you've got a handle on your EQ, and however you work that. Thing is, when you add a fatter signal, your ability to shift that changes. And if you're doing something off axis to the microphone, you may turn up a little muddy. So I suggest that you always stay on axis to your microphone. Roger.
Very good. So when so I'm currently using a hand mic, but my dad also has a setup for using a Heil headset, and we're trying to get an old Kenwood desk mic set up. However, whenever I use a hand mic, I always was taught to speak across the hand mic rather than directly into the hand mic to limit the plosives and the sibilants that you get, and also to kind of prevent a little too much of the bass. Is that correct? Over.
Roger, yes, across the mic, and it doesn't really attenuate high frequencies. I suggest actually bringing that mic up to a contact with your lip on the side and work across it. That's you do eliminate most of the transients, plosives, whatever. But also if you get a chance and go down to your friendly music store and get a foam windscreen, they make them pretty short these days, about 3 inches. And they will slip right over that hand mic, and that will take care of any of the last vestiges of transient noises. Roger?
Roger. Yeah. So when I speak with the hand mic, I usually, like you said, I put it up against my chin and up against the side of my mouth and speak across, so it's right there, and so I'm not talking too far away, and do that for trying to be mobile as well. So thank you for the update on that. I appreciate it. And I didn't think about the windscreen from a local music store, but I can definitely snag one of those. I have one in my area as well. Over.
Roger, Roger, sir. Well, I think you got it going on there, and if you get a chance, you can. We are recording, so if you want to hear where you are right at the moment, you could go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for an entity called My Group Aircheck 11/29/19, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 11/29/19. Roger.
Go to your YouTube page, K9VKV, My Group Aircheck 11/29/19. Definitely get into that. I'm still having trouble finding that compressor knob. I will find that on here. Oh, I found it. It's on the same as the power, the F.Y.I. I see that my compressor is set to 3. I'm actually going to bring that up to 6 right now, so I'm going to give a few checks. This is Whiskey 0 Golf Papa Romeo, Brandon from Western Pennsylvania, checking the compression. 1, 2, 3, over.
Roger, Brandon. Yeah, you want to put that on a 3. I don't want to hear that compressor working. You get up 6, 7, 8, and you start bringing up the wife beating the kids in the back room. I think a 3 is sufficient for the compressor. Set that for a 3, and then go to your ALC, and if you know where your mic gain is, bring your mic gain up to where your ALC meter is reflecting mid-scale to 2/3.
Very good. This is Whiskey 0 Golf Papa Romeo. Whiskey 0 Golf Papa Romeo, setting ALC, 1, 2, 3, check. 1, 2, 3, check. Is that over? Let me back that down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, check. 1, 2, 3. All right. W0GPR, over.
Roger, Roger. Now, you don't want to do your announcer thing when you set that ALC. You want to speak naturally, just the way you normally do, on that microphone. You don't want to force the level or be soft on the level. You want the ALC to reflect your normal, natural situation with your mic. Roger?
Very good. So let me get a little bit more relaxed on that. And, okay, so I'm setting the ALC now, so it's a little bit more natural of a speaking voice. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is Whiskey 0 Golf Papa Romeo, checking 1, 2, 3. Is that better? Over.
Roger, it's still a little peaky, but we have a cure for it. Take your watt meter, where you can see it as you speak. Put that watt meter in PMP, PNP, as opposed to RMS. Put it in PMP, and so it'll move a little bit quicker. And then as you speak, you try to keep that watt meter in the sweet spot where you know where it is. Try to, with your voice, try to keep your watt meter in the sweet spot. Roger.
Very good. I am checking that now. It seems to be operating, keeping it in the sweet spot, I believe. And I will have to check that at another time to make sure I have the settings correct. Over. Roger.
Now on your compressor, you have your reading is 0 to 10. Is that a Roger?
Correct. The reading on the compressor is 0 to 10, and it is set to 3. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Okay, and then in your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3, correct?
Correct. The ALC is mid-scale to 2/3. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, my work is done here, sir. It's up to you now, Roger.
Very good. Thank you so much for your help with that, and I appreciate. It's always good to have a trained ear and a watchful eye on the other side of the QSO to help with that. I really appreciate your help, sir. And I will definitely take a look at our conversation on your YouTube page, and as well as any info that you have on your QRZ page. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, let me say threes to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance, check in next Friday. We always love to talk to folks that have, our touch, so to speak, and find out what the conditions are and what they're, have been running into as far as folks commenting on their audio. Roger?
Roger. Very good. So thank you again. I will say 73 for now. And actually just got family just came back in. So thank you again. KC9VKV. This is Whiskey 0, Golf Papa Romeo. Over. Clear.
Roger, Roger. Three's that way. Have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog page. And if you'd like to hear one of my all-time best tune-ups, go to YouTube and do a search for RS3235. That's a YouTube search for Romeo Sierra 3235. It's truly one of my coolest tune-ups. This is KC9VKV. We're live till 5. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. KC9VKV.